Tulfo Erwin, Tulfo Rafi, Villanueva, Villar Camille, Villar Mark Zubiri, Senate President Cayetano Alan.
With 12 senators present, the chair declares a quorum.
Good day po sa lahat, si Fiscal EJ po ito. Can 12 senators legally constitute a quorum? Believe it or not, para masagot natin yan, kailangan nating bumalik sa isang Supreme Court case na mahigit 75 years old na, ang Avellino versus Cuenco. Avellino versus Cuenco remains relevant on the issue of quorum. The quorum provision under the 1935 Constitution is substantially the same as the quorum provision under the 1987 Constitution. Both constitutions provide that a majority of each house shall constitute a quorum to do business. Dahil halos pareho ang wording noon at ngayon, may matibay na dahilan para tingnan pa rin ang Avellino versus Cuenco bilang gabay sa pagdetermina kung may sapat na bilang ng senador para makapagtrabaho ang Senado. Sa Avellino, 24 rin ang miyembro ng Senado. Ngunit si Senator Tomas Confesor at that time ay nasa Estados Unidos at hindi available para makilahok sa Senate proceedings. Dahil dito, itinuring ng Supreme Court na hindi siya kabilang sa mga senators na aktual na kayang gampanan ang kanilang tungkulin sa panahong iyon. As a result, the court considered only 23 senators capable of participating. Since a majority of 23 is 12, the court held that 12 senators constituted a valid quorum. Mahalaga ang puntong ito. Hindi lamang binilang ng korte ang kabuuang authorized seat sa Senado. Tiningnan din ito kung ilan ang mga senador na actual na capable mag-function bilang miyembro ng Senado. Thus, if the constitutional text remains unchanged, there is strong reason to continue treating Avellino as persuasive authority on the issue of quorum. Now, may mga nagsasabi na hindi raw precedent ang Avellino dahil political question case daw ito. Pero kalahati lamang yan ng kwento. After the original decision, a motion for reconsideration was filed. In resolving that motion, the Supreme Court expressly addressed the quorum issue and recognized the validity of the session at which Senator Mariano Cuenco was elected as acting Senate President. Sa madaling salita, hindi tama na sabihin na hindi kailanman nagdesisyon ang Supreme Court tungkol sa quorum issue. The Court recognized a practical constitutional principle. A legislative body cannot be rendered permanently inoperative simply because a minority refuses to participate. Kung hindi, pwedeng i-paralyze ng isang maliit na grupo ang buong Senado sa simpleng paraan lamang ng hindi pagdalo sa sesyon. At malinaw na hindi yon ang layunin ng konstitusyon. Ang layunin ng quorum requirement ay hindi para pigilan ang gobyerno na gumana. Ang layunan nito ay tiyaking may sapat na representasyon habang tuloy pa rin ang operasyon ng Kongreso o Senado. Consider this hypothetical situation. Suppose 4 senators are in prison, 3 senators die in a plane crash, and 2 senators are detained abroad. That leaves only 15 senators capable of participating in Senate proceedings. Kung 7 sa kanila ang mag-boycott at tumanging dumalo sa anumang sesyon, 8 senador na lamang ang matitirang present. Applying the logic of Avellino, maaaring sabihing sapat pa rin ang 8 senador na yon upang bubuo ng quorum dahil sila ang majority ng 15 senators na capable pang mag-function at nasa loob ng effective reach ng Senado. Kung ipipilit natin na dapat laging majority ng buong 24 seats ang basihan, hindi na makakapag-operate ang Senado kailanman. Permanenteng deadlock, permanenteng paralysis. At siguradong hindi yun ang nais ng ating konstitusyon. Applying the reasoning of Avellino to the present controversy, one may argue that not all 24 senators are presently capable of participating in Senate proceedings. For example, it may be argued that one senator, Jinggoy Estrada, is under detention for a non-bailable offense, and another senator, Bato de la Rosa, is beyond the effective coercive reach of the Senate because he is hiding and is evading arrest. Sa ilalim ng argumentong ito, 22 senators na lamang ang capable mag-participate sa proceedings ng Senado. Now, a majority of 22 is 12. Accordingly, the 12 senators who convened on June 3 may be considered a valid quorum under the Avellino framework. However, Avellino does not control the election of the Senate President. Dito nagsisimulang magkahalo ang dalawang magkaibang legal issues. The issue of quorum is distinct from the issue of electing or replacing the Senate President. Magkaibang bagay ang pagkakaroon ng quorum at ang pagpili o pagpapalit ng Senate President. Under the 1987 Constitution, Article 6, Section 16, Paragraph 1 expressly provides that the Senate President shall be elected by a majority vote of all its respective members. Notice the difference. Sa quorum provision, ang ginamit na phrase ay each house. Sa provision tungkol sa Senate President, ang ginamit ay all its members. Napakahalaga ng pagkakaibang ito. Unlike the 1935 Constitution, the 1987 Constitution expressly requires a majority vote of all Senate members for the election of the Senate President. Therefore, 13 votes are required to elect or replace a Senate President. Why? Because the Senate consists of 24 members. A majority of 24 is 13. Kaya kahit sabihin pa nating valid quorum ang 12 senators, hindi pa rin sila maaaring maghalal ng bagong Senate President dahil mismong konstitusyon na ang nagsasabing kailangan ang 13 votes. And this constitutional requirement cannot be waived. For this reason, the quorum issue and the Senate President issue must not be conflated. Magkaiba po ang legal basis nila at magkaiba rin ang constitutional requirements na sumasaklaw sa kanila. Now, let's go to the Senate President pro tempore and other Senate officers, whether or not they stand on different footing or in the same footing as the Senate President. Iba po ang sitwasyon pagdating sa Senate President pro tempore at iba pang Senate officers. Unlike the Senate President, the Constitution does not require that the Senate President pro tempore and other Senate officers be elected by a majority of all Senate members. Ang requirement na kailangan ng majority vote of all members para sa mga posisyong ito ay hindi nakasulat sa Konstitusyon. Nasa Senate rules lamang ito. Specifically, Rule 2 Section 2 provides that Senate officers shall be elected by a majority vote of all its members. Kaya ang susunod na tanong ay, pwede bang i-waive ng Senado ang sarili nitong rules? Iyan ang puntong kailangan sagutin. Now, the case of Osmeña versus Pendatun suggests that Senate rules may be waived. Sa kasong Osmeña versus Pendatun, ipinaliwanag ng Supreme Court na ang parliamentary rules ay generally procedural in nature. Sa madaling salita, mga patakaran sila na ginawa ng Kongreso o Senado para sa maayos nitong operasyon. Because they are procedural, they may be waived, modified, suspended, or disregarded altogether by the Congress or by the Senate itself. Hindi sila katulad ng constitutional provisions na nakaukit mismo sa saligang batas. The court further explained that the mere failure to follow parliamentary rules does not necessarily invalidate congressional or Senate action when the requisite number of members has agreed to that action. Sa madaling salita, hindi otomatikong void ang isang congressional or Senate act dahil lamang may procedural rule na hindi nasunod. Ang mahalaga ay kung may sapat na bilang ng mga miyembro na sumang-ayon sa ginawang aksyon. Thus, unlike constitutional requirements, parliamentary rules do not enjoy the same level of rigidity. Now, what does the term requisite number mean? Ang terminong requisite number ay maaaring tunog komplikado, pero simple lang ang ibig sabihin nito. It actually refers to the number of votes legally sufficient for the Senate or Congress to act under the circumstances. Sa kontekstong ito, since the 12 senators constituted a valid quorum, sila ang bumubuo sa functioning Senate sa oras na iyon. Now, when all 12 voted to vacate certain offices and elect the Senate President pro tempore and other officers, they supplied the requisite number necessary for Senate action. Hindi sila kumikilos bilang isang ordinaryong minority faction lamang. Sila ang quorum mismo. At bilang quorum, sila ang may kakayahang magsagawa ng mga aksyon na pinahihintulutan ng batas at ng parliamentary practice. Now, this leads us to conclude that Rule 2 Section 2 of the Senate Rules can be waived impliedly or by conduct. Take note that ang waiver ay hindi laging kailangan sabihin ng tahasan. hindi kailangang may formal resolution na nagsasabing, "We hereby waive Rule 2, Section 2." Waiver may be implied from conduct. Sa batas, may mga pagkakataon na ang mismong kilos ng isang katawan ang nagpapakita na piniling itong huwag ipatupad ang isang procedural rule. By unanimously voting to remove existing officers and elect new ones despite the rule requiring a majority of all members, the Senate may be deemed to have waived the procedural requirement contained in its own rules. Sa madaling salita, ang kanilang ginawa mismo ang nagsisilbing ebidensya ng waiver. The waiver is inferred from the action itself. This conclusion is consistent with the principle recognized in Osmeña that parliamentary rules are generally subject to the control of the Senate or Congress that created them. Kung ang Senado ang gumawa ng rule, ang Senado rin ang maaaring mag-waive o magsuspende nito, provided that the rule is merely procedural and not constitutionally mandated. But this reasoning does not extend to the Senate President. Take note. Dito mahalagang huminto at linawin ang isang bagay. Ang lahat ng argumentong nakabatay sa Osmeña at waiver of Senate rules ay may limitasyon. Hindi ito applicable sa posisyon ng Senate President. The Senate President occupies a fundamentally different position. His election is governed not by Senate rules but by the Constitution itself. At dito nagiging napakahalaga ng pagkakaiba ng constitutional requirement at procedural rule. A constitutional requirement cannot be waived by parliamentary practice, unanimous consent, or internal Senate action. Hindi maaaring sabihin ng Senado na hindi na nila susundin ang isang requirement na mismong Constitution ang nagtakda. Therefore, while a quorum of 12 may have been sufficient to act on positions governed solely by Senate rules, it was not sufficient to replace a Senate President whose office is protected by an express constitutional voting requirement. Kung 13 votes ang hinihingi ng Konstitusyon, 13 votes ang kailangan. Hindi ito mababago ng Senate rules. At lalong hindi ito mababago sa pamamagitan lamang ng waiver ng Senate rules. Therefore, even assuming that the June 3 session had a valid quorum under Abilino and that the Senate rules were effectively waived under Osmeña, the office of the Senate President remains governed by a separate constitutional standard requiring a majority vote of all members of the Senate. Consequently, Alan Peter Cayetano remains Senate President unless and until another candidate obtains the constitutionally required 13 votes. But as former Senate President Franklin Drilon aptly described the situation, Alan Peter Cayetano is the Senate President, but he is like a king without a kingdom. So yan lang po ang nais kong ibahagi today, and see you in my next video. Maraming salamat po.